Now we can make it happen. Ben has arrived. We're waiting for some special guests. Welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen. It's Jeff Widgren. We meet here every Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. We've been doing that for over a year and a half now. Used to do it twice a week even. But Fridays seem to work out, and when we start, we just keep letting people in. So, hope to see more arrive over time and enjoy what we have planned for today. The common content, which is community, sharing our successes, our challenges and struggles, our new findings, kind of putting the test to Zoom and identifying undocumented behaviors even so that we can be better prepared on those meetings and jobs and events that we manage as well. So good to be here. Thanks for coming out. And we are excited to have some special guests. And my intention has never been to turn the Zoom Test Kitchen into, like a platform of all kinds of different product and so forth. But when those products tie in so well to what we do, with Zoom and surrounding Zoom in a productive nature and so forth, I just can't not, include them and share them, with you. Some of you are obviously, familiar with Cinamaker. You've either heard about it or you've seen a demo of it on maybe office hours, or maybe you've even had your hands on it and tried it out and so forth. But these guys have continued to develop their product, and I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon, and add some new features and so forth. So the feature that really got them to the Zoom Test Kitchen is new to their platform, and it's their integration with Zoom. And we liken it to our work is often has been we're doing work that's either Zoom only, which is simple and pretty blasé as a deliverable, but it is what it is, and then we can produce and brand our broadcast as well, and that can be done with hardware switching, vMix, OBS, certainly Cinamaker as well, and we can pull all that together and make it look great. But then we've been challenged for many months now, because the world has adopted Zoom, and many of our customers have simply demanded, hey, that's the platform we want to use, not really realizing we translate that to, but that's ugly, as a broadcast a deliverable. And what they really mean, I think, for the most part, is that's where our entire organization is comfortable. We've licensed it. They've gotten used to it. It connects everybody's different devices into the meeting, and so that's really, I think, what they've been stating more than anything else. But then we have our own challenges, and that is they have, out of the 500 people they'll have in the meeting, let's say 10 of them are going to be the speakers and the primary providers of the content and so forth, and we go, well, we have to get them prepped, and you can't do all that, prep and host the audience and so forth all in the same meeting. And so we've created separate meetings. We've created breakout rooms. There's been a number of different approaches that have been taken, and we scrape them and bring them into our mixer of some sort and inject them back into the primary Zoom meeting. We now can NDI them, if you will, from either like a Zoom Roam or Zoom ISO, a number of different approaches there, and bring them in that way and route the audio accordingly. And I just thought it was fascinating in the sense of the tight integration and the simplicity that Cinamaker's approach to this, having outside guests in a separate Zoom meeting actually be brought into the mix and so forth. So anyways, excited to introduce Benjamin Nowak, the CEO of Cinamaker. Gary Baker is here, the president of Cinamaker. And I saw, let me scroll down a touch, Dan is here too, right? Dan Flores is, I believe I'm accurate in saying, just a huge advocate of the product and an evangelist out there. And so glad to have you here as well, Dan. As far as interaction, I don't want to change things a lot. It's still a comfortable, in size meeting, in the sense of being able to have, community-based conversation. Just raise a digital hand so we know that, you've got something on your mind, and we can go vocal about it. If you don't wish to approach it that way, certainly feel free to put it in the chat, and we'll point that out if Benjamin doesn't catch that automatically. And so either one of those methods work well. We're recording, we are streaming to our YouTube channel, Zoom Test Kitchen, and our Facebook group as well. So happy to have all those folks join us. And I will, in fact, turn the time over to Benjamin if you are ready. I'll let you describe Cinamaker in itself, kind of what it is at the ground level, how it's growing, maybe, as I know as much as, you probably as the CEO who are well aware of, roadmap features. There's only so much you'll be able to say, but maybe a little bit of insight there. And then I hope I'm right in sharing that not only is Cinamaker here to share and demonstrate, but they have more ears in this meeting than they have mouths, right? So they'll share plenty, but they're listening big time. So if you have the opportunity and to share your thoughts and ideas and so forth, even if it's not an existing feature that's available, I would rest assured that they're listening closely to that as well. So anyways, Benjamin, and if you will, after that introduction of the kind of the baseline of the product, go ahead and feel free to set up, because we do have some folks who are kind of pre-arranged to they're either not in this meeting right now and they'll be joining, or they're in this meeting and they'll drop and then they'll join your demonstration as well. So Benjamin, it's all yours, and thank you and welcome.
Thank you for the warm introduction, Jeff. Happy to be here. Wanted to acknowledge we also have my partner in crime, our President and Chief Operating Officer, Gary Baker, is joining us, and he's available everybody. For questions as well. Our goal is really just to tell you a little bit about what we've built, take you through it, demonstration, and then get to show off what we're most excited about is our most recent remote guest, remote camera feature that uses the Zoom backbone. So let me just kind of start from the beginning. Cinamaker is a live video production system. It's an end-to-end solution that does recording, live streaming, can send your output to Zoom. We have a built-in editor, and we built a solution that is really easy for emerging creators, new people getting into it, to be able to do high quality video production. As you mentioned, Jeff, we use our tool to enhance the quality of a Zoom presentation. Right now, I have simply just a lower third up there, but like any of the other live production tools, you can switch cameras. We have a media engine where you can play video. We even can put a little animated GIF on the screen. So there's still an animated graphics. Let's turn that guy off. We've got still an animated graphics, a full-blown media engine, really, that lets you play video, audio clips. What have I got here? Just a moment. I actually, having an issue. Isn't that great? Just perfect for the meeting.
Happens all the time when we go live, huh?
Wow. Gary and I were just, running through everything. Machine's been fine. Okay, Gary, go ahead
tell
and
us
fill in while I
what
figure out
happened.
what just happened over here.
Yeah, yeah. So as Ben was saying, we have been hard at work at getting a full-blown system that allows us to go from really the production process of live and recorded video, as well as be able to go into an edit mode after recording, after live streaming. We're able to turn Cinamaker into an editor, and we take the ISOs and we're able to re-edit, remix the audio, and also remix any of the graphics that were used during the production, and that's readily available in the editor in the app right away. So what we've really been focused on is making it simple and affordable, using equipment we already own, which are Macs and iPads to control Cinamaker, using iPhones and iPads as cameras, and we also can and are compatible with digital cameras as well. The idea of the remote guest functionality really came upon us as we all have been scrambling to figure out what to do now that we are in a more remote world. And as COVID hit, we got into conversations with Zoom, and we found that there was an opportunity to leverage Zoom's SDK and be able to basically build a backbone of Zoom feeds as remote cameras and remote guests. And we've been able now to integrate that into the Cinamaker user experience right within the app. So what Ben is going to show us is exactly how we have enabled the Zoom SDK within Cinamaker and bring in a few remote guests. And as Jeff mentioned, we have a few people on this call right now who are standing by, and we'll be able to demo exactly how the workflow proceeds forward. Ben, how we doing?
Yeah, we're good. Sorry, just like you say, in the middle of these demos, that's when everything wants to blow up. Easy fix, back running. So just quickly, in terms of the capabilities of the system, we can do switching. If we wanted to do a kind of a multi-screen layout, we can do more advanced stuff like this. I didn't have this one optimized. With moving backgrounds and custom layouts, pretty much anything you can do in the newsroom. Let's see what else here. We can do some built-in animation. So, some of our features here, we can support 8 cameras, switch, connect just about anything to this. iPhones, Android devices now through Zoom, NDI sources, any kind of camera through a SDI or HDMI encoder, and we manage all the connection and synchronization for you. Let's see here. Well, let me share the interface, and I'll give you guys a feel of how I'm making these changes and how easily everything works. So I'm just going to use the Zoom screen share. Host disabled screen sharing. Jeff, if you wouldn't mind making me a co-host or providing permissions. And I'm Gary, by the way, with my name. I couldn't get any of my permission. We're good now. Thank you. Okay. Everybody should be able to see my screen. Because the timing is all optimized for the webcam driver, you should only see in the small video that would be in sync. The video here that has my cameras is not. But as I touch these items on the bottom, I can switch between the several iPhones. I have, remote control of all these devices. I can go ahead and change the zoom, exposure. I can customize, do a manual white balance, focus, etc. If I mess things up, like I put stuff out of focus or destroy the exposure, I can just hit this button here and it'll automatically autofocus, auto exposure for me. But I can control all the cameras from there. We have an audio mixer. Right now, my audio is just coming from this one device. I could have a lav. I could be plugged into a USB digital audio interface, a full-blown mixer. We've got almost unlimited ways to get audio in the system. There's a chroma key engine where you can play. Well, let's let James in. With the chroma key engine, you can do a video in your background or just regular still images. And then we have just simple transitions if you want to have a nice fade between the different camera. As I mentioned, we can connect to a variety of sources right here. I can turn on my internal FaceTime camera. I have a HDI source, a Sony camera. And on the bottom here, you'll see we have remote guest camera management. And I've logged into a session here. I'm logged into Zoom, forgive me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a meeting, my own Zoom session that's going to manage the remote guests. And from here, I'll go ahead and invite some folks that we have prearranged to join us. So to invite them, we simply capture the meeting info we just launched. This is just for the remote guest session. And we will send this by mail. Ta-da.
So while Ben's doing that to the guests who have been previously arranged, you're moments away from dropping off this session. As soon as you get that invite, I'll go ahead and log into a new Zoom meeting.
All right, just a moment, sorry. I probably do this way, it'll be easier. And if you're online, I'm going to invite David, Ray, and John. And if those are your names, you will know who you are. Do you guys see the messages pop up that I have there? Oh, I'm sorry, David, Ray, and Guy. Forgive me.
Yeah,
I just copied and pasted it. I just entered it in, so I'm in.
Okay. Guy, we'll see you in a minute.
So that should come right across. And what I'll do is I'll close this. And so look, Guy just jumped in. Now, I'm going to join this meeting also as a spectator from another machine, just to demonstrate how I can communicate with the remote guests before I bring them live into the session.
Hi, Ben. David here. I didn't get an invite.
Oh, forgive me. Let's do that again. Share. Maybe it went to your mobile phone? No? Just a moment. David, I'll try that again. Oh, let's do this. Share. Didn't have a message for that. So to David, send. David, it has no subject.
By the way, we are in the midst of working on improving this portion of the workflow with our partners, so it will be much more fluid.
Well, yeah, we're using the share function and with Apple's operating system. So if you don't have that 100%, it's not going to go there. Hey, David, do you have a mobile I can send it to?
Sure.
Let's see if I can send it to your email via here.
I'm going to put it in the chat to you.
Okay, thank you. Let me join while we're doing this. And I will simply just airdrop it to my nearby computer next to me. And there we go. Okay, share, airdrop.
This is classically the early days of software. So we relish in opportunities like this so that we can quickly improve.
Okay, so I've joined guys in here. We're still waiting on a couple of guests. I can see, let me go back to my video here, stop sharing for a moment. And then, no, let me just add a new camera. It's going to be the simplest way to do this. So I'm really forgetting I'm not so mobile. I'm going to turn on the FaceTime camera on my computer here. Let's go back. We'll switch to that. And then you'll see on my other device, maybe, that I've got Guy sitting here. This is my green room. So Guy can hear me now on the session, but he's not live. He's not on one of the active cameras here. As soon as I add him to the session, and I'll do that now just so we can see how that works, I would flip him on here. And now he's in Cinamaker as a guest and his camera is active. So if I go back
now.
one more time.
Your screen
Your
share.
sharing is off.
Hello, hello.
Yeah. Oh,
Coming
geez.
in.
No, I intended on it to be off. My
Okay.
apologies.
All right. So Guy or others will become your camera output now. Okay.
Yeah. So, and it might have been better for me to keep my screen sharing on.
This is Ray. I have not received my invite yet.
Oh, Ray, I think it went to your mobile phone. I'm going to send it to your email this moment.
Okay. I have my audio off over here, so I'm not duplicating it. So I'm going to turn it off.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
David,
Thank you.
David also hasn't received.
Oh, no. Well, this should be smooth. My apologies. And essentially copy it to my clipboard and shoot it by email because I know that will work. Well, thank you, everybody, for your patience. Gary, can you dance here? I'll only just be a second.
Sure.
So,
We have really been working to resolve all issues, as you can imagine, with this going live just about a week ago. We clearly know that this is something that once it gets resolved will ultimately be as simple as any login and sharing of the login. So I'm hoping you will appreciate this as being software as it is, and that's the good news. It's software, so we can make these changes pretty easily.
okay. So I just sent an email with the credentials, and you guys should see that shortly. But as you'll see, because I turned Guy on here, he shows up as a camera, but he's got my name on him, and that's not good. We can fix that. So let me set up a lower third I did for him. He's in camera slot 5. So essentially, I have pre-configured some lower thirds here. and I just need to assign the user to the slot. So we can pull Guy up in a little window like that if we want to, and we'll, so our 3 guests, let's see who's arrived. Oh, still waiting. Our 3 guests will show up here, and from within our media engine, we can simply turn them on one at a time. We could add a background of a still image or a movie clip so that we had some type of moving background. So for example, I'll grab this, I'll make this full screen. We're going to tell that to loop and save. So now, as long as I put this behind Guy and all my guests, they will be the background. So I can start playing this and then turn Guy on as our first guest. Welcome, Guy. Let's go see if anyone else has shown up. Hey, David's here. I'm going to click David on, and you'll see down at the bottom when I go back, now we have David. Hi, David. We've got you hidden because Guy and I are taking over, but there's David, available as a full-blown connection. Go back to Guy here. If I want to, again, do a multi-layout here, I would assign David to slot 6 and save that back out and turn on his lower third, turn on Guy's lower third. And now
Ben,
we are.
We just got a
we're
message from
interacting now.
Ray. Ray's not received his invite yet, so we'll proceed. But we've got a
Ray, check
slot
your
there.
Discord.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Ray, I'm going to have to take your slot to keep things moving along here. So, you'll see as I added people to this, they also show up in the audio mixer. So I can mute people or adjust their audio so that they mix in effectively. So I will take Ray's slot. We're going to just change the text object to be my name and save that. And then we'll go ahead and, which one are we going to use? We'll use the FaceTime HD camera 4. Oh, not bad. Okay. So here we are. So at this point, I can have a full interaction with Guy and David. We're all essentially on the same session. If I move my camera here, Guy and David and anyone else who connects to this session are actually seeing the output from the program. They get to see and hear everything. Guys, you want to say hello while you're there? Guy?
Hello, hello.
Specifically?
Into my MacBook built-in microphone.
I am not getting audio from you. Let's see what the issue is.
We're hearing Guy.
You getting microphone from me?
Okay. Oh,
Level.
as you should
Hey,
be.
hey, hey.
I'm not monitoring the audio properly. Let me do this. So, okay. Yeah, that's gonna. So, David, if you want to go ahead and say hello to everyone here. Now,
So I can say hello, but I did not connect my audio to this meeting because I'm in 2 different meetings. So you're hearing me through the original meeting, not the Cinamaker meeting.
oh, okay, got it. No problem.
Which is a
That's
great
tricky.
explanation because your sync is way out of whack, and that's why. So thanks for letting us know that. So I'm interested in
that's
seeing
good.
Guy's sync on the output, though.
Guy, talk to us for a sec. What do you got?
No, we don't
Not
have
getting your
Guy's
audio. Want to try now? Hello?
We're seeing it. We're actually seeing it on the
Yeah, we
meter.
see the level. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, This I'm not sure. David, could you turn on your audio for us? Is it, or you don't have an audio device on your remote machine? Got it. Okay, Guy, I'm a little bit confused. You were coming through before I stopped monitoring. So what we'll do here is I'm gonna drop you. So when I do that, I can take you out of my session, and then I can put you back in the session by just flipping you back on, and maybe that will have cleaned up the audio issue. Guy, you want to try talking to us? Okay, well, it looks like we're having an audio issue. You guys heard Guy originally, yeah?
We did once,
yes,
yeah.
Ben.
Okay, well, I'm going to request that if you don't mind, drop and come back in, Guy, given that you have the good microphone or a microphone, and let's see if it's a connection issue.
Yeah, nobody hears you, Guy.
While Ben's doing that, I just want to mention this workflow that you'll see from the other part of the interface, which was
Ben, I am actually,
as
I do have my audio connected. I am talking into the Cinamaker meeting, but you're not hearing it for some reason.
Okay, thank you, David. So it does appear I'm having an audio connection issue here. All right, well.
As the guests are being invited into the meeting, the steps are they're coming into a Zoom meeting. That is our green room scenario. And only when it's time for them to come into the Cinamaker session, which Ben is capable of switching them into just by selecting the on position, they will come into the Cinamaker session in camera positions. And ultimately, until like right now when he's selecting Rabbi David, he is ultimately now including him in the production. So it's a 1, 2, 3 step, but it, outside of the audio issues, works fluidly, and it is it's that easy. And of course, audio can be and is being controlled by the director here.
Okay, Guy, can we hear you? All right. Well, I'm really sorry. I want to apologize to everyone. This audio does work most every time. I did not expect this issue. I don't know if it's with the specific session or it's just a bug here. I'd start this all over, but I don't want to waste everyone's time, Jeff. It won't take too long, but I'm a little bit surprised it's not working, but it seems to be the same for David and Guy.
Well, I think I think a lot of us realize that live demos are the toughest. I've been involved in many,
Well,
and
this is,
if anything's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong when you go live, not when you practice, you know. And so we get that. It doesn't overshadow the you know, the potential of the, you know, really the smoothness of the workflow and the simplicity. And what you're doing on the fly right now in the meeting, which, you know, is a daring act of its own, but that's the audience you're in front of as well, is like, well, how are you doing that, right? You know, keeping in mind the timing of this would be pre-show, right? And in most cases anyways, it's pre-show and it's a setup and you've got a green room manager and, you know, they're working through all these details and then the switcher, you know, sees them ready and so forth. So certainly
one thing that we got from Dan Benjamin is you have auto monitoring on. You want to, is that turned off? Will that affect anything?
where am I? Sorry.
The top of screen auto monitoring.
Top center of the Cinamaker
that was
panel.
just so I could hear the ghost. I hear the guests, the ghost guests that we can't hear. That shouldn't change anything. Guys, you want to try to talk? Anything? No. No, this is a bug. Something failed in the connection. So I encourage everyone to go download it, do it yourself. The audio will work for you. I can't imagine. And really, this is supposed to work all the time. So I'm really a little bit embarrassed. We'll fall back on it's a couple weeks new, and we're still working through some things. But we build our tools to work on the fly like this. Yes, in live production, we would have had the connection earlier and tested everything. But nonetheless, I'm disappointed it didn't work because it does usually. So hopefully everybody got to get a sense of how easy it is to bring in another guest, how much flexibility and customization you have with the tool.
Hey, Ben, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
I wonder if this isn't actually a problem in Cinamaker, because in Cinamaker, we're all hearing, in the Cinamaker Zoom, we're all hearing each other. It's just not going into the other Zoom, the test kitchen Zoom. I wonder if maybe it's just not routed correctly. I don't think this is a Cinamaker problem.
It shouldn't be a Cinamaker problem. I mean, but I think it is, because your audio's being detected in the mixer. So if we weren't detecting it, we're not, for some reason, it's not getting mixed into the main mix right here. And that seems to me a bug. So we've got a hand raised from Joe.
Yeah, I wanted to, the other gentleman who just spoke, I think he hit on something there. We'd like to know what your audio microphone into the Zoom Kitchen, what microphone you have selected. Seems like you have the wrong one selected. So you have your own mic rather than the Cinamaker.
Than theirs.
Right.
That is a great. Oh, wait a minute. You are brilliant. Let me check something. Maybe it got switched when it failed. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what happened here. I'm losing my mind. My Zoom window. Let me stop sharing so I can. Audio. No, it's a Cinamaker audio device. Let me switch away from it for a second.
Thought I had something there.
Yeah, that was. That sounds like the kind of thing that would fail.
Yeah, but it may be different when you screen share. Try talking now, guys, because it's just changed really dramatically.
Gentlemen, guys speaking, we're not hearing it. Okay, so it's a mixer on my end.
You did something. I mean, you did something, Ben, and the audio just changed dramatically.
I went away from the Cinamaker audio device, and then I went back to it, and
okay,
did it just get worse?
No, but can you just do us a favor? Can you stop screen sharing? Because also, if you've got screen sharing on, it may be blocking it as well. Now try. Okay, now can we hear them?
Hello. Now they're talking, as you can see the meter, but for some reason their audio is not getting mixed into the main mix. I can turn on, other devices here, and you should hear an echo if the mixer's working. And just the Zoom sources seem to be off. Well, that's not as we planned. I did want to just point out a couple of other things while I have everyone's attention, and we can wrap this up. I'm going to go back to a quick share to show you how easy we do multi-camera recording and editing and streaming. So if you're creating content, evergreen content, you want to repurpose later down the road, Cinamaker really, you can use it live like this, or you can go back, record everything, come back and edit it after the fact. So what we've done is we've created what we call a multi-camera live editor, where you can do multi-camera editing with the live, in a live context. So we're gonna switch.
So that just killed the Zoom session.
Oh,
You
I
are
did.
coming through,
Sorry,
Benjamin.
guys. I am. I killed our guests because I went out of our live production to demo the editor here. Forgive me, Guy. Forgive me, David. What I've got here is we're in the editor.
Hey, I'm still here.
Okay. Thank you.
We
Sorry
figured
about that.
you'd figure out how to do that, Guy.
Yeah. But from within the editor, we can go back, look at our content, and you'll see when I hit play, we have all of the, oh wait, I can hear David in this mix now. Very interesting. So watch this. I don't know if this audio gets passed through in screen sharing, but we have the ability to overwrite our audio mixes, our video mixes. And I just heard David, well, I don't know what, yeah, I heard David talking. So I can go to overwrite mode, hit record, and I'm having, it's not working really well here in the screen capture. My goodness. So, wow. Okay, that I'm thinking maybe was a Zoom issue. I mean, so essentially it allows us to, I've got these guys in my ears, hold on. Essentially by doing this, it enables us to go back, change our camera angles, load different media, remix our audio sources. We've just made it really simple to change those decisions. And then once you've done that in a real-time fashion, go and render that out and, you know, make as many copies of that as you want. Lastly, something we're also real proud of is our multi-camera project files are compatible with Adobe Premiere and Final Cut Pro. So within our tool, you can go to your projects, hit an export button, and it will create a file that will import. It'll create an XML file that imports your project in, puts all your source assets. So if you had 6 cameras like this, you'll see your 6 cameras. They'll be in multicam format. Your timeline will be built based on any media assets you use during your production. So again, if you want to do professional editing, you know, more than you can do in this live editor, we make it really easy to do that as well. Again, we tried to build end-to-end local and remote production. And when the Zoom audio mixes most of the time here. But Gary, what did I forget?
Hey, Ben.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Sorry, this is David. I don't know if you wanted to show, because I think it's one of the really neat features, what you guys call virtual camera. So I actually have Cinamaker open here on my other device. So you can actually you can basically crop in on any shot, make that into another camera, and then move that around, finagle it around. So you could actually, if you have a group of people in person, you can actually, with one camera, get 3 different camera shots and then line it up as if you had 3 cameras, which I think it's a really nice feature.
Thank you. And then you're going to like something else. So I'm sharing my screen again just to show what David was talking about. We have the ability here to grab any of these iPhones that have a 4K sensor. We're able to build multiple 1080p windows out of that. So we just hit the little V, virtual camera. And as long as your window's a quarter of this screen, you're going to get a full 1080p. That looks close enough. So we'll add that virtual camera, and you'll see here, well, that I lost my zoom there, just a moment. But you'll see this is almost full resolution. It's a 1080p sharp. And so if you could imagine if you had a conference table and 4 or 5 people in a round table type format, you can have a camera on each one of them and switch in between and then go back to a wide angle. So lets you take one camera and go from wide to tight really easily. So thank you, David. Did not cover that one. Any questions from the audience?
I'll start with maybe a discussion for some clarity around platform, and if you're and roles, right? So if you're the switcher, if it's your production, what tools and platforms do they live on? Windows, Mac. What version or newer of Mac as far as hardware and software are required? To sustain that, as well as
I heard as well as.
We lost your mic.
Mm.
Yeah, Jeff,
let me
we lose Jeff. There he is.
Yes.
okay.
So
did you hear me at the beginning of that, or did
I got
you just...
most of it? Yeah,
Okay,
I think we
somebody
just dropped the
bounced on
end.
mute.
But
anyways,
of
and you
platform-
also can be a video switcher, show producer on an iPad, right? And so I think some clarity on that will help help people understand where the platform solution fits well. Whether it's a house of worship setting, small meeting, medium meeting, large event. I'm not sure it's a large event tool, quite honestly, but you'll allow you to kind of state your case on that, and
Sure.
it just kind of position it, if you would, on hardware, software, and use case. I think that'd be super helpful for a lot of us.
Excellent. I'll do my best. So we started out on the iOS platform with the concept of building a mobile, easy, super agile live production platform that you can put in a backpack and use an iPhone, have the flexibility of connecting professional cameras, but really something that's easy and fast and super affordable. We realized over time that our customers had greater needs, and that the iPad really wasn't. We were real impressed what we can do with it, but ultimately we had to go build for Mac to get the power that we wanted for it. So for many applications, the iPad, and especially now the M1 iPad, is extremely powerful. You can do 8-camera production. You can utilize most all the features. We have, there's no webcam driver with our iPad version. Our Zoom integration is limited based on the Zoom SDK that's available for iOS. We are not going to deploy a 4K solution on iOS, but it is very powerful, recording, live streaming 1080p. And doing 1 or 2 Zoom guests is not a problem, but going more becomes trouble. Now you can get away with 3 or 4, but don't do any more than that. The Mac OS, again, we moved to that platform just to be able to leverage the power of the desktop and the reliability. And from there, we've got our webcam driver, which we're talking through now, and we're building our 4K and most of our more advanced features on Mac OS. We are primarily used as a kind of a B system, not necessarily for the main stage. We've been used on the main stage many times. We've run events that are 8 hours long. We had one that failed after the iPad overheated because in the solution. So we can, we test. Our QA team does many hour tests on our platform just to make sure it sustains. So we can do that, but most people are using us in breakout rooms. We have a lot of our customers are small and medium churches. Really, it spans, but it's from type situations to personal education and training type content, and everything in between, business meetings, webinars, have you. So very wide application, but usually they don't replace the tens of thousands of dollars of switcher equipment, but we've replaced a couple of vMixes and a TriCaster. So we're proud of what we've built. But there's a right solution for most jobs, and we just like to think we're easy and flexible.
Hey, Ben, a question came in. A question came in about us being compatible with Android. You want to address that?
Sure. So you can connect an Android client to Cinamaker through the NDI interface and an NDI camera on Android, or connecting through a Zoom client as well. Those are the two ways.
But not as the controlling device.
No, not as the director. We actually invested quite a bit of time into building an Android platform and had to abandon it given the breadth of various operating systems and manufacturers and chipsets, and it's the reason why it's not out there is because it's really hard to build something like this on that platform. Someone may do it one day. Probably not us. Any other questions?
Jeff, did that answer your question?
Yeah, well, and I'll answer that with my my understanding up to this point. Then, kind of its ideal spot is M1 Mac, MacBook Pro. I mean, is that kind of its ideal director platform?
If you want to push the envelope, yes. If you want to have 4 or 5 local cameras and 3 or 4 remote guests, it's a great machine for doing that. I actually still I keep an iPad Air 2, which is about 7 years old now at home, and I still will load the iOS version on that and see what it does, and it'll still run the app. The graphics are a little choppy when they display, but what we're recommending lately is a 2018 class machine or newer. That would be, I forget the generation of the iPad, but people are operating it on older machines. We just don't recommend it, and you just want to limit the amount of resources you use. But 2018 and newer Mac and iPad, you shouldn't have any problems from the entry level.
Very good. Well,
so
I know in our house of worship, I've got several chapels under my watch, and we've done that, and we're Talking Heads church, if you will, and so it just really required, at a minimum, a mic stand with a mobile device mount on the end of it, and so we, asked somebody to volunteer their device each week and install Lyric's broadcaster, and out goes the signal to our streaming platform. I can, really easily see this, even just to put a second mobile device in and be able to get, a cutaway cam, or sometimes they have special musical numbers, that are on the piano or with a vocalist, and we miss them, or it looks super clunky when somebody has to twist the mic stand, and then bring it back and so forth. So, to put a second iPhone or a second tablet, on another stand, and for me to be able to sit in one of the pews with my tablet, which is in fact a new iPad Pro M1, and just switch between those two cameras. I mean, the potential in that space for me, is super meaningful, and something worth researching and spending some time on for sure. And so, on the bigger, Zoom is such a big, important piece of it. This Zoom integration is I think just essential. House of worship, meetings. I mean, it's kind of endless in how many places that exist in different ways. You know, many ways in which Zoom never really developed for, but you know,
absolutely
are making changes. So yeah, tons of you know, executable. I mean, you go spend time on some of the stuff that, you know, Dan Flores has, you know, put out there. You know how the product works. You know, I mean, today probably wasn't the highest grade possible on a live demo, but at the same time, nobody understands that better than I do. In the sense, I used to do it a ton for companies, and it's really frustrating. And I mean, you know, I know that, you know, when you leave the meeting, Ben, you you might end up with a few bruises that you inflict upon yourself, you know, because it's just never a great walk. It's never a great walk away. But there's a lot of foundation that's out there and a lot of success that's out there, and so forth. So I think it's just, you know, really important. And you know, the introduction, if it's an intro for some of the folks that are here today, has been made. You know, I mean, you now know and have heard from. You know, Benjamin Nowak, the CEO of the company, and Gary, the president of the company, and a real big advocate of it, Dan Flores, and so, you know, we've made connections and to a product that in many ways is very, very impressive, and I think as it continues to develop as well, will just be all the better and smoother and the whole bit. So it
Hey Jeff,
it's good stuff. I'm glad we've had you here to show it off a bit, and if anybody has
Jeff, could I jump in real quick?
Yeah, absolutely, David.
This is David.
As a user of this product, yeah, I definitely want to have you talk about it.
You'll forgive me if you mentioned this, but to me, this is the killer. Zoom, the Zoom integration is a killer feature, but to me personally, before Zoom came along, this was the killer feature right here. And that is that I've got a 2016, I don't know, iPhone here with the Cinamaker app on it. It's not connected to anything, and it just automatically pulled this phone up into this meeting, and it automatically gives me another camera shot. So if you don't have, you know, Black Magics and all that other stuff, you take 4 iPhones, you put them around, you download the Cinamaker app on them, and you immediately have 4 really solid camera shots that you can switch between. The fact that it just works out of the box, you just download the apps and boom, you're done, is just fantastic to me.
Thank you, David.
Good stuff. Thank you, David. Yeah, thanks, David.
One last little thing I'll tease here. We're about a week, hopefully no more than a week or 2 away from a new release where we have all the iOS 15 and new Mac features. So center stage, you can set up any one of the new iPads and walk around, and uses Apple's algorithm to follow you. So you can mix multiple center stage cameras, so you can follow yourself across the room. We also are having some real good success with cinematic mode. We've got a couple of things we're tweaking on sync, but both of those we're real excited about launching very soon, and we've got them working and real pleased with the results.
Tony, go ahead.
Got a question?
So I want to say thank you, gentlemen, for the demonstration today. I have in the past been honored to have an opportunity to do a little bit of the beta testing with your product. Now, we're just wondering, were there new opportunities to continue to do that?
Absolutely, yes. We have this next release that technically has not gone into public beta, but I think it'll be ready on Monday to do that. So I will make sure that myself or Gary reaches out to you and gets you back on the list. But we probably didn't. The last real beta we did was the Zoom release prior. So, but we'll.
Yes, absolutely, Tony. And by the way, we want to thank everybody for your patience today, but also to those of you who took the time to be in the queue in this meeting, in the remote guest meeting. We're sorry we weren't able to necessarily pull that together. But if you'll have us back, we'd love to show it to you as this evolves, because we're fairly confident this is ready for prime time.
Yeah, all the more reason to have you back, right? Especially if we have the same audience and then more, we can compare and go, holy moly, they that was super smooth, like, and polished and the whole bit. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, every product out there, I mean, every single one of us expect ATEM to release their next ATEM box, vMix to release their next version with new I mean, everything's under development in this industry without a doubt. And so it's always just at that moment, kind of what is it at that moment? What's its most stable pieces and what's its newest features, which, sometimes synonymously means the least stable because it's the least used, right? And proven and has the least amount of time behind it, right? But yeah, I really think the investigation and the discovery of the product and so forth. Gary, feel free while you're spotlit with us, you put that coupon back up on screen, because that's not going to happen outside of the Zoom test kitchen. As far as if you want to start digging in and so forth, and these guys have made the opportunity right inside the kitchen only is to give you 20% off the annual plan. And so a good way to save, and even with more affordability, kind of jump into the platform. Guy, I'm going to bring you on as well. Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
If you wouldn't mind, and Guy, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to just say that this plan, the Cinamaker Director Studio, is available on the Cinamaker website. If you can get to the payment page and apply this coupon with ZTK as the code at checkout for 20% off. And our pricing on a monthly plan, just month to month, is $29.99. But with the annual plan, you're getting the effective 12-month price for about $17 a month. So please take advantage of it, poke around with it, tell us what you think, contact us and let us know what you need. We really do want to honor this relationship and make sure that it's getting better and better as we go. Guy?
There's a 7-day free trial. So if it doesn't work out for your needs, you don't get charged.
Yeah, I had a quick question. Were you doing the demo on an iPad or on a M1, or what was the demo hardware?
I'm on an M1, my MacBook Pro.
And did we see, when you popped yours for add source, did we see NDI sources?
Oh yeah. Here, I'll show you.
Yeah, they're ingestible sources.
Because I know
so right
this
now
is the
I
same software
old Sony
OEM
camera.
to Panasonic, right? It's basically live control. This is
same core, different code base, but the same core primarily.
And that's been rock solid. I've seen that used in some production, so I know that's super solid.
Thank you. So I'm sorry, I was showing you what?
The add sources and add NDI.
Yeah. So right now I have a Tile View encoder on the floor that has a old Sony camera. That's great.
Are you connected via Ethernet or via Wi-Fi?
It's Ethernet.
It's Ethernet. Okay.
It is. We just haven't. The only way we're doing Wi-Fi with encoders now is with using, and it works pretty good, but you have to use a mesh network. So we're using Wi-Fi 6 devices and just putting the encoder into that. Most of the wireless around are just terrible. And really, you need Wi-Fi 6 for anything. I mean, until you spend the couple $1,000s for the Teradek and their specific stuff, it's just the regular encoders don't do it.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Well, listen, really appreciate everyone's time. I'm so sorry that our audio didn't pass through. That's pretty embarrassing considering this is the Zoom test kitchen and Zoom is what failed. So,
hey,
if you take spend the time to download it.
Well, that's why it's a test kitchen. We're all here to test things. We don't expect them to be. We're here to help and test and figure it all out. You know what? You'll probably find that there's 7 or 8 of us here right now that'll jump on a Zoom meeting with you anytime to test this with you.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
so truly, I mean, you know, guys, Benjamin or Gary, Dan, every one of you are welcome to, you know, just even without announcement, just come in and join the test kitchen any Friday that you want to, for truly the sole purpose to, you know, test, and we do it all the time with, you know, Zoom ISO, Zoom OSC, Zoom itself naturally, Zoom Webinar, the backend portal. I mean, kind of across the board with tools, and you know, I sit here, I'm feeding the Zoom meeting. I feed every Zoom meeting through my vMix, and there's others who do it, you know, with OBS and ATEM switchers, and you know, so it's a great test bed. It really is. There's you know, so everybody here is doing it, you know, potentially, you know, the number of people in this kitchen right now that are, you know, have a mic and earphones plugged directly into their computer and a Zoom meeting only is, I would guess, the minority. And so, you know, it's just a matter of, you know, being able to tap in and ask and find, you know, who happens to have this combination. If you have a combination you want to test or whatnot. So anyways, loved having you. I just know there's, you know, plenty of prep and time absorbed, you know, to prepare, you know, for one of these meetings. So I appreciate you doing that. And Gary's just been awesome. I mean, him and I have, I don't know, a few hours of just, you know, chatting and talking and discussing, and, you know, you couldn't meet better people. And, you know, I've been in IT sales for years and years until I joined the production space. And, you know, my efforts and friendliness to the customer only go so far. Once I sell the product, it's not like I never show up again, but they do that then becomes a support relationship. And once you invest in it, you then, so, you know, during your, you know, investigation of any investment, you've got to be able to, you know, ask the right questions, meet the right people, and you just have, you know, Benjamin and Gary, and as far as good people, good support, and so forth moving forward, I think is just a huge A+ in that sense, knowing that even if, you know, you fire something up and it's not quite working right, it you know, an easy get a hold of, get an answer, get some assistance, and so forth, and that is magical. When it comes to, you know, being, you know, well informed, well prepared, you know, quickly fixed, and so forth. So I just can't. I have to go beyond the product, because it's not just the product. It has just tons to do with the people behind it and the efforts behind it, and so forth. So I appreciate that a lot.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you very much.
You bet.
Yeah.
And anybody else? Any other questions, wants, tests? Can it do this? I really thought there'd be a whole lot. Can it do? Can it do? Can it do? You know, because I certainly I shared with Gary during some of our discussions. You know, let's say you've got 2 or 3 physical cameras and you're on director, and so you use 2 or 3 more inputs, camera inputs, and they're coming in from Zoom. And so let's say we've got, let's say inputs, you know, we got 1 through 4, or 5, 6, 7, and 8 are going to be Zoom inputs. I can imagine pretty easily that the 4 inputs suit me just fine, because I'll never have a panel bigger than that at one given time. But I've got 12 people in the green room who are going to be rotated in and rotated out. I don't want to have to go back to the camera screen to change people. I want to be able to right click on input 5, 6, 7, or 8 to get a pop-up list of everybody who's in that green room and simply change who that feed is coming from. That was something that jumped right out at me really quickly, and because it keeps me switching without having to lose my space. I mean, like that, once the show's live, that space, switching space console is near and dear, and I don't want to have to leave it. And so that would be one of my kind of requests for feature. Yeah. If anybody else has kind of thought it.
Jonathan had a hand raised. Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan has a hand up.
Yeah. There we go.
Nothing about Cinamaker. I've got a generic Zoom question. Has anyone figured out how to get Zoom to go longer than 30 hours?
No, it's their maximum. 30 hours is their top single run time.
Actually, there's in the Jewish community, there are certain days of the year that kind of line up next to each other when you're not supposed to use technology. And during the pandemic, because services were all going to be held on Zoom, a rabbi up in, I believe in New Jersey, reached out to Zoom and asked if they could enable a persistent meeting for, I want to say 36 hours, maybe 37 hours. And they did grant that. They did that in 2020, and then they did it again in 2021. He basically just collated a list of different accounts that would want that feature, and Zoom did grant that. So
that's awesome.
Ask and ye shall receive, maybe.
Yeah. So it's one of those exceptions that they could deliver on. That's great.
Was that a persistent meeting where you could reopen the meeting every time, or the meeting itself went for 36 hours?
No, it was a meeting that just stayed open for 36 hours.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Do you know what level of account he had?
Nothing more than a pro account.
Great.
He got a lot of accounts enabled. It wasn't just one. But I didn't see the call out in 2021 for it, which makes me feel there was an extension. There was definitely an extension to extend the length of meetings.
Right. There wasn't an additional call, but he did post and say, hey, everybody who was on the list last year is going to get it again this year. If you would like to be added, I can try and throw you in there. So that's what I saw, at least.
Cool. Thanks for the tip.
Yeah, good to know. All right. Well, thanks for that segue, Jonathan, as well, in the sense of we can certainly loosen up the context of the topic and dig into the Zoom side and so there's some new feature releases and so forth. So not without first saying, Lois, you have your hand up there as well.
When we're done with this topic, I have a question.
Okay. All right. Thanks. So not first without saying, offering a big thanks to Benjamin and Gary. I'm trying to look for you on screen. Are you still there? There's Gary. I lost Benjamin visually.
Ben's here.
Oh, there he is. Anyways, gentlemen, I'm certainly not kicking you out of the Zoom Test Kitchen, but I am saying thanks so much for coming here and sharing, and for all of your investment efforts of time and money and so forth in the development of a solution that can certainly benefit this community and industry as a whole. And if there's truly anything that we can do to help you grow that and continue to make it an even better product and so forth, we're here, and I think it's a great place to do just that. So I'll be myself digging into it, especially in our houses of worship here, and taking one at a time and really kind of putting it to the test and building an expanded model from what we have, which is like drop dead simple, and adding to that, and I'll give you all the feedback I can as a result of that. So anyways, thanks again so much. We'll definitely, have you back in the future. You're welcome back anytime. Never feel like you have to have an invite. And anyways, that if there aren't any other questions regarding Cinamaker in particular, we will, in fact, transition to kind of the Zoom test kitchen community. All questions, Zoom, and just outside those edges, are fair discussion points. And Lois is first. She's got her hand up there and waiting patiently.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good to see you again. Been a while. We're going to have a retreat. As some of you may know, we have a small meeting and very low-tech solutions. So my question is, we're going to have a retreat with breakout rooms. We want to record everything. Now, I can record the main room, no problem. What do I need to do to record each of the breakout room sessions? If there's someone in there who's a co-host, can they record? If I turn recording capabilities on for everyone, is that solution? What do we do? What's the easiest way to record breakout sessions?
Yeah, so I'll start with feedback, and I know there's others who can finish what I miss. One, you can't record to the cloud from a breakout room. That's just kind of a given. And so the solution is to record local. So then the question is, who do you have to send in with that responsibility? I don't know. Someone might help me here. If you make them a co-host, do they have the ability to go there and record? Or do you also have to grant them recording privileges? I'm not 100% clear on that. I know if they're not a co-host, you definitely have to grant them recording privileges before, and it's before. You can't, the host can't go in and grant privileges within a breakout room. You have to do it in the main room first, and then they'll leave with those privileges, and they'll have them when they get there inside the breakout room. But that one piece that I wasn't really clear on, if somebody has that answer, if I make you a co-host in the main session, can you go in the breakout room and record with no further granted privileges? Robert?
Yeah, hi Lois. I run sessions like this, and I do exactly what Jeff said. What we have is a moderator for each and every breakout room, and they're given co-host before we open the breakout rooms, and then they record locally. And I usually literally pop into the breakout rooms to make sure that they are recording, because they have to hit the record button. The thing is, they can hit the record button before they go into the breakout room, because the local record will follow them into the breakout room.
Okay.
So, yeah, so you can get
That's
them all.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
As the meeting goes on, and we've had a half an hour of this discussion, and then people are going to swap around and go into different rooms for the second topic. Does that changing make any difference? I mean, as long as the host stays in room number one, then they should be able to continue recording no matter who comes and goes. Is that true?
That is absolutely correct. And like I said, the local recording will follow the co-host that is doing the local recording. So even if he goes into a different breakout room, he will record the different or the new breakout room that he goes into.
Even on top of that, keep in mind that make no assumptions of what's being recorded. I think the only fair assumption is if you assigned me co-host, Lois, and I went into that breakout room, what I have on my screen in that Zoom meeting is what will get recorded. So if it's gallery view, speaker view, multi-spotlight, so I won't just necessarily have the freedom to kind of just bounce around inside and around that Zoom meeting just because I'm there as a recorder. It's actually my responsibility to know what you want to capture. The gallery, I have to leave it on gallery, or speaker view, I have to leave it on speaker view. And otherwise, you may not get what you kind of anticipated. Robert, you have a little more to add to that?
One more thing, Lois. If you as host are cloud recording, then when you allocate people as co-hosts, they will automatically get the sign that they are recording, and they probably won't think that they can local record, and they won't, because if you as host are cloud recording, the co-hosts won't have the local recording available.
If they started recording locally and then I added cloud recording, I think they would continue to record. Is that correct?
I don't know that. I really don't know that.
Okay. And if I were to, I know there's some of the settings you can do before the meeting starts. So if I were to say anybody can record, then there wouldn't be a problem. Is there an upper limit of how many local recordings can be going at the same time?
I'm not aware of a limit. I am aware that there's not one option that you can select to allow anybody to record, though. As far as I understand, you have to click on the person's More button in the participants list or their video window and allow. It says explicitly, if I take Lois, for instance, and I click on More, it's explicitly allowed to record local files, and I have to do that person by person, by assignment, if you will. But I've never hit a limit on that.
Lois, I actually did a conference where I had 6 breakout rooms going on all the time.
Right.
We probably had about 10 of them altogether. And what I did is I had 6 computers set up here in my office, and I assigned them to each room. And then I started and stopped the recording from here. And they were not co-hosts, as I remember. I just, set them up that they could, computer can record locally.
So you had 6 separate accounts?
I had 6 separate logins, yes.
Yeah, they can be free accounts. They need to be separate accounts, but they can be free accounts. And the only thing is you have to realize when James says he had 6 computers ingesting that Zoom meeting, there's absolutely a consequence to the bandwidth requirement into his facility, right? And so you could see that multiply for each new client that's all within that office space, if you will.
Thank you very much. Anyone else have any suggestions that they wanted to?
The only thing I would just add, and it's an obvious comment, is local record records what the local view is. So if somebody goes and just spotlights one screen, that's all it's going to record. I know it's a pretty obvious comment, but sometimes you don't realize it. If you want to record the gallery, whoever's recording has got to stay in the gallery.
So, yeah, well, and in meeting, that's not very easy, though, is it? Because when I spotlight, I trump your view. So
yeah,
you're kind of saying when I trump your view as the well, no, never mind. You're in a breakout room. Spotlighting is not supported. Yeah. So there is
pinning. Pinning is.
But pinning is local to the person.
Yeah.
But that person can be the recorder.
Yes, it is.
Pinning is local to the person. Yes, you're right, Lois. But the record is actually recording the first. So if you've got a 2-screen setup, which is what I'm in at the moment. So I've got a multi-screen. You record the main screen. So whatever is in your main screen view is what actually of that machine that's recording records. That's what it's recording locally. So you don't get the option like you do on the cloud record to say record gallery and speaker
gallery
view.
and
so
share.
To my knowledge,
so
is there.
Yeah.
So what are you trying to record? Are you just trying to record a gallery for prosperity?
Each breakout room is going to be a discussion of a group of people, and we want to archive that. We want to record.
Okay, so you want to record it for prosperity. You're not recording it to say I'm getting a super high quality, or that we're going to cut it or use it for production later.
No, and we have no streaming or
okay. No, that's okay.
Stuff. We're just
No, that's all right. So
have archives.
Yeah. So just make sure that when you write your instructions of how to record, ask the people that are going to do the recording to stay in the gallery mode.
Right.
And not into this there. I mean, you can test this. I'm 80% sure that it records exactly what your main screen is showing. So if you're in speaker view, you only get one person. If you want to record, and if what you're trying to do is record for prosperity, in other words, you want to see all the screens and you're not really bothered, you're not trying to get a super high definition of anybody, gallery is your friend.
Yeah.
I believe that multi-pinning does not work in a breakout room. Is that correct?
I can't tell you about multi-pinning.
Robert, do you remember?
It's a granted privilege that I know. First, I'd have to grant you the privilege to multi-pin first. And then, I mean, we can test it out. We can create a breakout room and I can grant you multi-pinning privileges. And then you can go to the breakout room and a few of us will follow you so that you can try to multi-pin us. I can't say that I have ever tested that. I will add at least a decision, thought, and that is in this recording inside the breakout room, assuming that somebody might share something or a presentation or whatnot, if the designated recorder is a single monitor, there's no way to avoid not recording that share. It'll come up large and you'll get maybe the gallery strip on the side or top of that. If you know that you don't want to record the share inside of a breakout room, but you want the gallery and gallery only, or speaker view, whatever the case may be, a new requirement of really having to designate somebody who knows how to turn on dual monitor mode. They have to have two monitors, I believe, for Zoom to even make dual monitor mode an option. Then they turn on dual monitor mode because then sharing ends up on that second monitor that's not getting locally recorded, and your gallery will stay intact without getting interrupted with a share that shows up and goes away and so forth. So just a thought, depending on what you want recorded. If you always want the combination recorded, you want share with the thumbnails and then the full gallery when the share stops, then just the opposite. You'll want to make sure that your designated recorders do not have dual monitor mode on, otherwise you won't get the share included in the record. So just some thoughts there.
When you create that breakout room, and thank you, and send some folks in there, would you also give me permission to record so I can test what that looks like? I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
You bet.
So I have a question to this. If you decide to cloud record, then nobody has the ability to record within a breakout room. If you have the need to record breakout rooms, then you can't have the cloud output from the the speaker view and the gallery view and the share view. So you destroy this cloud record bonus, so to say, with local record, right? Or is there a possibility to cloud record and then like screen scrape within a breakout room? And if so, how do you do it?
Well, breakout rooms, just to make sure I'm hearing you right, breakout rooms won't ever be part of a cloud record, right? It's just the main room.
But what I mean is, if you want to have this cloud record thing, then you don't have the ability to do the breakout recording anyway, right?
I think if you start,
I don't think that's true.
I think if you start the breakout recording on the local computer and then later in the main room add a cloud recording, I don't think it stops the already existing local record.
It gets a little tricky because I've done that. I run cloud and local recordings at the same time. That way, if one bombs out, at least I've got another one. Usually what I end up doing is I'll start the local one first and then do the cloud. The local one, I've had monitor the breakout. I've never tried punching record there. I've just left it in pause mode, sent my local machine over to a breakout room as a monitor. So that's something that I have to try. It's blinking pause. So theoretically, I could just reach over there and unpause it. The only thing that I want to add to this discussion is turn off that annoying feature in Zoom where the robot voice comes on and says, recording has started, recording has stopped, recording has started, recording has stopped. Turn that voice thing off. The participants will still get the pop-up on their screen. They'll still have to acknowledge that, yes, I'm aware this meeting is recorded, but at least the robot voice won't kill the discussion, the conversation that's taking place.
Yeah.
How do you turn that off, Jason?
You go into, I think they put it in advanced settings now.
On the portal. Yeah.
That was the first place, but usually, yeah, I go into the portal, but I was playing around in the client today, and I saw something that I thought, oh, I wonder if this might do it.
Interesting.
But definitely, if you log in through the web portal under advanced account settings, it's in that section, and I'll grab a screenshot of it here in a second and make that accessible, because it's one of those things that it's like you ask yourself, why the heck did they put it here?
So again, as I didn't understand it right, you can allow cloud recording for a co-host, and you can also allow local recording, and both doesn't influence itself.
I do the host cloud recording and then a co-host local recording.
Okay.
But in the other order, you start the local.
I start the local first.
Yeah.
And then the cloud.
Okay, thanks.
And then the only thing you have to do is school your co-host that don't get wigged out that when the host stops the cloud recording, they may also see a pop-up or acknowledgement on the local side that the recording has stopped, and just let that person know, unless you physically have hit stop or pause local recording, it's still going. Pay no attention to the fact that the host did something to the cloud recording. It's not affecting your local.
So you're saying they'll get that message while they're in the breakout room local recording when I stop the cloud record in the main
that
session,
I haven't tested. That I haven't tested in the breakout.
Yeah.
I know that happens in the main.
I'd be surprised if they get that message in the breakout
I
room.
wouldn't think they would get it in the breakout, because theoretically the cloud recording is only sticks in the main session, and the breakout doesn't know what's going on in the main session.
Pretty much in its own session, yeah.
Yeah.
So
other than the chats coming over.
I have granted local recording to Lois, Andre, and Jason. So let's just start testing a few combinations here. So all one or all three of you, go ahead and try to start a local record in the main session.
I just did.
Me too.
All right.
And we can check in participants to see who's got the little flashy lights.
Mm-hmm.
So Jeff,
the top ones have them because they're co-hosts that I'm cloud recording, but the added ones that are not in the cloud but in the circles are you three now that have started local records. So that's good to go. So let me now create a breakout room. I'll assign manually. I will set options to let you choose the room. You can come back to the main session anytime. And I'm not going to assign anybody. I'll just let you guys take care of that part.
Hey, Jeff, before we go to breakout, did Joe have a question about this or something else?
Talk to us, Joe.
Yeah, it was related. I just wanted to know if you could spotlight inside a breakout room.
No.
You cannot.
Okay, enough said.
Yeah. Okay, so
I'm just room and test it.
It is room number one. Room one is what it's called. I'm not going to make any assignments. I'm just going to open it, and you guys can. Not everybody has to go there if you don't want to, but a few of us need to go there to. I would say leave your local recording on, and confirm that it follows you there and stays on. I will keep my breakout window open to see. We got Robert went over there, Lois went there, James went there, and Andre went over there.
And I'm going to go over there right now.
And keep in mind, for those that are still here, none of those, so Andre, James, Jason, Lois, and Robert, none of them are co-hosts. Now Robert, I did not grant local recording to. Lois, Andre, and Jason. So there's 3 out of 6 people that are there that can locally record, and we'll kind of wait for their experiences. Joe, do you still have a question, or just a hand that's still up from last time?
No, I'll still up from last time. I'll take it down.
Okay. Just checking.
Look, we kind of missed Lois. She always comes up with good questions.
Oh, she does. She is really. She's grown so much. I mean, her green screen today, other than when she moves quickly, her green screen looks really good. And I don't know if she's done anything extra or if she, what she's done there, but I think it. I mean, a wall of grass, maybe not the right object, but I'm just talking about, the keying and so forth is pretty decent on the static portion of the pictures. So you got a little different camera angle today, Ray. You got a little 45.
Well, because I was prepared, there was going to be a demo today, and so I was going to be on this for the Zoom test kitchen, and this one, my primary, for the big demo. I didn't get to use that one yet today, so
Yeah.
that's why I'm here.
Your sync is way off on this camera.
Is it?
Yeah, so a few frames for sure.
It's raw. It's going through my mixer and not through the camera. So
yeah,
it's
I
backup.
didn't hear the clap. It may have filtered that out. Turn on original sound and do a clap test. One more
week
time.
and a half.
Wow.
Week and a half.
I was waiting for it because it was way off, but I still didn't connect. Do it one more time, just once. Oh wow, your audio is like I heard it before you lifted the lever.
I don't use this very frequently. I should have been more. I should have tested it better.
Yeah. It's really it's probably a second and a half out at least. Yeah. Anyways, I like the angle. I like the utility look. Okay, let's see if anybody's coming back yet. They must be over there having a good time.
They're talking about us.
No, they're not talking about you. I was just in the room, and so it's. Lois did some testing.
Lois is not in either. Oh, she did disconnect and she's coming back. Okay, and I was going to say she's gone. She bailed.
She wanted
to see the.
I just let her back.
She wanted it to convert the video for her so she could see what she gets to. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
All right. Anybody else over there? Oh, she went back to room 1. Not quite sure why. We'll see. Maybe she's testing to see if she can just by herself turn it back on to record, but she's coming back.
She's not going to share it with us.
She'll share. She has to.
Hello again.
Okay.
Lois, you're muted.
He could make me a co-host, then I could share.
I'll turn on share. I intentionally didn't. I announced to everybody in the main session while you guys left that none of you are co-hosts, and so that's the basis. All I did was grant you local recording privileges. Because if I make you a co-host, I don't have to grant you recording privileges, but the experience could definitely be different. I'm telling you, I will go to all ends not to make people co-hosts. I mean,
well, can you give me the permission to share then?
Yeah, I have the ability to do that. I mean, I'll do it with co-host now because that's the way I do it. Go ahead. I'll talk out loud. I made her co-host so that she can share, and the moment she shares, I'm removing co-host. Because if I turn on sharing,
okay, I'm there.
And if I turn on sharing, this is just a quick review. Some of you have already heard this practice, but if I turn on sharing, I'm turning it on for everybody, which I just don't want to do. If I make her so I go momentary, turn on sharing, let her share, turn off sharing while she's sharing. That'll kill her share. If I make her co-host, so she can start the share, and then I kill the co-host while she's sharing, the share will remain. And that's exactly what we're looking at. She is no longer a co-host, but now she's successfully still sharing. So as a momentary co-host is the safest, more secure way to give that ability on the fly. All right. Tell us what you got here.
So this is the 4 of us in the room and Andre is also recording.
Yes, I do.
And then we tried to see Robert could change.
Which view do you record, Lois?
Whatever you want. Whatever I would suggest you change. So I switched to speaker view. I switched back. Then I switched to pinning. Now he made me a co-host. I pinned him, and I went to full screen. So instead of the little things at the top, you had the things at the side, and you had the 9 dots, the 2 dots, the 1 thing, and the line. The 1 thing gave me just me as here, but it didn't record that part of it. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing now. So does that make sense? When you pin someone, they're big on the screen. And then if you go to full screen, you can get the thing on the side, you can arrange that, but it doesn't record that part. And since we weren't co-hosts, we couldn't multi-pin, so that's what it was.
So when you went full screen, the natural behavior is that when participants and chat is normally connected to our window, when you go full screen, it forces them to pop out, right? That's what you were.
That doesn't record. That does not record.
So even though it's on top of the gallery view or the speaker view, it still didn't capture it in the record. That's good to know. It's good to know because like when I'm doing I have a system in the meeting called Streamer, and the reason it's in so I can have a full screen view of the meeting and capture it and send it over NDI to my vMix machine, which then streams it out to YouTube and Facebook. But on the second monitor on this computer, I've dragged the participants window up there. I dragged the chat window up there. I dragged the floating gallery view, and I pop out and I drag intentionally the settings window as well, because if I need to make a change, I don't want the streaming world to see it, and because I'm screen capturing, I have to get everything out of the way, where you're saying it can be in the way, which is a tremendous benefit for a local record. Even though it's there, it's not going to get recorded. I think that's a fascinating piece of information there. So that was super helpful.
If those of you who are here right now want to follow along, so you can see what I'm talking about. Remember, I don't have any of your high-tech bells and whistles. If you go to view and choose full screen, okay, so then you're in full screen and you're still in gallery view if that's what you've been in. And then if you pin someone, anyone, because everyone can do that, just pin someone, then the floating window that shows your gallery view, click on the one that is a single box, that's you. Now, hopefully it is always you. I'm speaking, so it could be that I'm the speaker and that's why it's showing, but is everyone seeing yourself in that window? Yes?
In what window?
In the little floating window when you click the single box instead of the multi-gallery.
I'm
not quite sure I'm following you.
He means the little film strip.
Someone
film strip view.
Yeah, someone is pinned and you're in full screen. It won't work for you, Jeff, because you've got two windows. This works for me because I only have one window.
Yeah, I get it.
Is anyone else seeing that? Nobody.
I think you'll see your. I would anticipate to see my own camera if I was the one, that desktop you're talking about that's producing that floating window. But that doesn't ignore the option. There is an option under. If you were to right click or click on the three dots on your own picture, you can hide self view. So if you didn't want you to be in that film strip of videos, you can hide self view. And the other one that might be a better recording too is to hide non-video users, right? Which we all kind of are familiar with.
So I'm not talking about recording now. If I did that. I hid not myself. I hid myself.
Yeah.
It still is true that when I go up to that floating window in full view and I click the single box, it's me. Even though it says hide.
You're saying there's tiny little icons that say, hey, show me one, show me more.
Yes. Yeah. The thumbnail videos.
That now I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thumbnail videos are not recorded in the recording. It only records speaker view or gallery view. And on the local recording, if you change speaker view, gallery view, whatever you change, it records all of that.
It'll change with you. Yeah. So is Andre still here with us? Yeah.
And then Lois, I have the.
Yes, I am, but I have camera issues.
What, Jason?
I have the screenshot where you turn off the annoying robot voice.
Oh, thank you. That would be lovely. You want to post it in the chat? I'm saving the chat this time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Now, I don't want anybody walking away feeling like because you were in a breakout room, you couldn't multi-pin. I did not grant. Multi-pinning is a granted privilege inside Zoom from the host. And so I did not do that originally. So now the same three people, Andre, Jason, and Lois, you have local record privileges like before, but I have also added multi-pin privileges. So I would encourage you to go back to the breakout room and help us all understand, can you multi-pin? I would expect that you can, even in a breakout room. So if you could go, somebody
See you later.
Go verify, that'd be great.
All right. Hang out with Jeremy.
One question before: where do you assign the right to local record and to a multi-pin?
So I do it today I did it in the participants window. I just clicked on the more button, but I can right click on anybody's video in the gallery view and get the same pop-up menu of options. And so I can say I can assign somebody to become the closed caption person. I can assign them to record and multi-pin. Those are the three kind of assignments, if you will, that can be achieved.
Okay, so I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. I love these workshops. These are great. Just go test it out. Go test, verify, and come back and share and walk away more knowledgeable, And I'm guessing. I'm totally guessing right now. I would suspect they will be able to multi-pin. I know spotlighting is not supported in breakout rooms, but because pinning is supported, there's very little reason for multi-pin, as long as it's been granted, to also be supported in a breakout room. Tony, you got your hand up. You're muted, Tony. We can't hear you. There
Greetings, guys. I apologize for the muting of myself. I want to say thanks, Jeff, for the opportunity to participate in the demo today. Even though I didn't get a chance to come on, it was fine. It was. I was glad that you invited me to participate, because normally I'll get a notice sometime after you have already started. So I was able to be here at the beginning. So I wanted to say thank you for that.
Well, thanks for coming.
I was wondering, before everyone sort of gets away, it would be okay if I could mention Wednesday night, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, the same thought just hit me, but we've got 5 or 6 of them over in that breakout, and it looks like they might be heading back, but let's at least get them back, and then we can announce that.
Okay.
And then I'll get that posted this weekend as well, so that we can get some better spread. Alex, if you're listening, English to PT. What language is PT?
Possibly Filipino, Tagalog, or something like that, maybe?
We'll see. If Alex jumps in, we'll find out.
Sorry, I was muted. It is English to Portuguese.
Portuguese, okay.
Yes, specific in Portuguese.
Thank you. Keeping pretty busy out there?
Well, the pandemic has been treating me a little bit nicer than some months ago. It's getting a little better. I mean, in regards to workload and hours of work.
Yeah.
And I'm joining the group more to be available, actually, to give my opinion as an interpreter about sound quality and the things that matter most to the people that are rendering simultaneous interpretation.
That's great. Were you one of our live interpreters when we had the Zoom gang and Robert's group of interpreters on? Were you one of those?
No, I actually, but I did participate as an interpreter on Zoomtopia.
Oh, good.
So, yeah,
good.
That was some experience, and I'm here to share my opinions with anyone. I just don't like to jump in because I know you guys deal with a different set of skills.
Yeah, kind of from a different perspective, but that's it doesn't go on deaf ears when you do. So I consider your comments putting that topic in queue today, and we would love to hear from you and your unique perspective to us, right? And I think all too often we just we don't choose to kind of go that extra mile unless the customer has the gun to our head that says you have to provide translation, and then we struggle our way through it, And the fact is it doesn't have to really actually be all that difficult. I mean, it can be depending on targets of where we're delivering and so forth. But but needless to say, Zoom, you know, at its foundation, does a pretty good job of making. I mean, like within 60 seconds, you could be live, you know, language translation, right, interpretation for us in this meeting. It would be
Yes.
it would be that simple to get it turned on, assign it to you. Bingo, there's a Portuguese channel. Is that what you said? Did you
Yes,
say
Portuguese.
Portuguese channel that anybody could tune into and instantly hear exactly what I'm saying in Portuguese. I'll tell you what, after that Zoom that Zoom meeting that we had with the Zoom events team, Joey and Robert's team, that we did it in 6 different languages, I finally, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks later, played one of the recordings that
Right.
Robert recorded to Vimeo, and I heard myself in Russian, and I'm just like, wow, I've never ever done that before, you know, and it was really wild to hear myself, you know, in a different language, and so. You know, and I guess my bigger wow factor was that the ones I listened to were male voices, which is, you know, a little closer match than, because I could just as easily be, you know, interpreted, translated in a female voice, right?
Right.
But
Exactly.
but anyways, well, very cool. Well, let's see what the experiences were there in the breakout rooms with record and multi-pen, and then while you were away, we were chatting with Alex, who is a professional interpreter, English to Portuguese, and he came to share his unique perspectives, kind of as an interpreter in a lot of the Zoom world that might be really beneficial knowledge for us as well. So
I have
yeah,
to
whoever
rewatch the
wants to.
YouTube.
What's that?
So I have to rewatch the YouTube because I have some interpretation questions that will follow later. But first, the
Oh
experience.
yeah. We didn't get into detail while you were gone. That was more of just an introduction of, you know, Alex and what he does. But he's held off until you guys got back. So, and also Tony. I don't know if you need a drop or not, but in case you need a drop, Tony, why don't we do the announcement now that everybody is back? I believe. Did everybody leave the breakout? Oh, there's actually James and Lois and Robert are still there. Okay.
They may have dropped the meeting and then come back, and then it automatically sent them back over there.
Want me to close the breakout rooms?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to interrupt them if they're actually testing something and they are there. Like, she just renamed herself in the breakout room, added a phone number and stuff like that. So, so I'll give them time. Jason, why don't you start and just share with us your particular experiences? The reason we went back, this is the second time, was I granted you record privileges and this time multi-pen privileges as well. Could you multi-pen while you were in the breakout?
All right. Well, let me share my recording, and then you can see exactly what happened.
Right. Oh, hang on. I gotta allow you to do that. That didn't go through my brain completely when you said that.
That's all right.
Go ahead.
Okay. So we'll do this, and of course share sound, so you can hear what's going on there. And okay, and you should be seeing. There we go. And now let's roll tape.
Oh, so I do it in. Today I did it in the participants window. I just clicked on the more button.
So is
but
this
I can
before you
right-click
went
on
to the
anybody's
breakout,
video
or
in the gallery
This
view
is your
and get the
narration in the
same,
main
you know,
session
pop-up
of how you're
menu of
setting this up.
options.
Okay,
And so
okay.
I can say,
Hello.
Hello. All right.
all
Now
right.
we're
So
We're
now
back
now we're in
again.
the breakout.
Back
Okay.
again. And
I'm-
I started the
narrate what's
recording
going
in
on
the
here.
main session, so we'll see what this one grabs.
Now this one says replace pin. It does not give me an option for additional pin. Does
Okay.
anybody else got multi-pinning
So
going on?
first, what I'm going to do, and I'm just narrating this for this own recording here, I came in under speaker view. This is using the view option button in the top right corner. I have the film strip, and I'm going to pin Lois, and Lois is now full screen. And I only have the option to replace the pin. So now if I replace pin with James, James is full screen.
So no multi-pinning here.
There is no multi-pinning, and I'm changing the film strip over to
Now,
grid
and
view.
I am not listed as a co-host anymore.
Okay. I wonder if out of habit he quickly turned that off, because he's so used to doing that.
Right, no, we're not co-hosts,
Yes,
but he
I'm
said he
sure.
gave us multi-pin privileges.
Yeah, right. We haven't been co-hosts.
Okay.
Just,
all right.
Just one other thing. Are you on a Mac or are you on a Windows machine?
I am on Windows, and I'm currently running dual monitors. However, I've told Zoom not to use dual monitor mode. So right now, this local recording should be just exactly like if I were running it on one of my laptops sitting over in the corner.
Okay.
And I'm on a Mac with no extra bells and whistles.
Okay, Lois, when you looked at the recording, did you see the switch from speaker view to get? I think it's because you're on a Mac. When I do it on a Windows machine, I don't get that switch.
Oh, okay.
But we'll see what Jason gets.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stop
That's a
recording
good-
inside the breakout room. So we'll stop recording, and then I'm going to leave the meeting so that my local recording compiles, and I'll report back soon. Okay. So as you can see there, I was able to switch between speaker view, gallery view, using the view options in the top right-hand corner. It totally ignored the floating film strip. I
Yep.
was pressing on that, grid view, single view, hide, non-video, all of that not captured in the recording. That floating panel
Cool.
just ignores
Even
that.
though they were floating on top of this recording, it didn't capture them. It's great.
And I moved it around in case there was a hot zone that I wasn't aware of. Nope, it totally ignored it.
So that's great. The so the big note is even though I granted you local record, that carried over into the breakout room. I granted you multi-pin, that did not carry over to the breakout room. And I think on the kind of extended usage or use case thinking that I always have going on in my head is the ability to pin for the sake of recording does make it look now not multi-pinning, but at least you can switch between full screens of people for the recording purpose as if you were spotlighting, right? I mean, it doesn't affect everybody. Your audience is the recorder, right? And so if you want the recorder to respond to your timing of switching, because you could put it on speaker view and get full screen of the active speaker, but you're also going to potentially get the cougher who's unmuted, right? And so when they cough, they'll pop in there with a video and go away. The ability to record that's being pin driven, although not multi-pin, I think could have its place at times. So that's great fun.
But remember, Lois' use case was in a breakout session where she wants the gallery view to capture all the participants participating.
Yeah.
Jason?
Yes.
Jason, we hung out in the breakout room thinking you were coming back. So I missed the beginning of your little presentation. Were you on Windows able to switch between gallery view and speaker view in the recording? Or did it stay speaker the whole time?
I don't think I saw gallery on your recording, but I feel like I did. And on Lois's first recording, I thought I saw.
That's the point. So,
I'm on a Mac,
so
he's
the
on
reason
Windows.
is.
Oh,
Lois
okay.
is
So that's
using
the
a
platform
Mac.
conversation. Okay.
Yeah. So if you have a Mac, you can record the gallery view.
No gallery view in my recording. I'm just fast forwarding through it. So yeah.
So
and I was switching gallery in the breakout, but it is not captured in my local recording.
So the PC is recording active speaker or full screen pin, but not gallery. Even though you would switch to gallery, it's only taking you to active speaker, I would assume. Is
Well,
that
when we first went into the breakout room, it was automatically in gallery view for me. Was it automatically in gallery view for you three?
No, I was in speaker view.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but like I said, the local recording in Windows will record the view you have active at the time you switch the record button.
That's what I was going to ask, and
So
as well, were you recording and went there recording, or did you start the recording after you got there? I think that may be that's tied into what Robert was saying.
For me, I started in the main session recording and recorded through my breakout. What I don't
let's do it again.
What I don't recall is I'm pretty sure that I started in gallery view in the main session, and then when I went into breakout, I was toggling back and forth, and as you saw in the video, it did not at any point.
Robert's putting money on you probably weren't in gallery view.
Okay.
He's saying if you were in gallery view, it should have kept you in and recorded it when you arrived in the breakout room. I'd love to know the sure answer of that.
Okay.
Jason,
test that in a second.
Give us the permissions again.
When you started recording, you were in the main room. So
Correct.
if you go to the very beginning of your recording, is that gallery view?
The very beginning of the recording
that was actually
spotlighted
or active, right?
Yeah, I started recording in the main session, so from here.
So it wasn't gallery view before you left.
So let's experiment with this.
Okay.
If Jason and I both start recording in gallery view, kill the share screen, just do gallery view, and then we go to the breakout room. We both stop recording. We both start recording again in speaker view and try the speaker view, gallery view question.
In the breakout. Okay.
So we'll each have two recordings. One started here, one started there. What do you think?
I will say, I just want to put this up on the screen too. Let me see. Yeah, okay, so there. You see I've got two recordings here. I never stopped recording. I hit pause on the first one. And then when I resumed recording, it automatically started a second file. You see there's two different.
Yeah.
And now I never had the option to compile only one of them. So when I paused the recording, the little Zoom converting window didn't come up until I left the meeting.
Yeah.
And then it said Zoom converting, and then when I opened up this file folder, hey, surprise, there are two recordings in there. Wow, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, well, I tend to believe that is part of a newly released feature. One of the new released features was unique recording file names, and it's I think it's the 0 and the 1 at the ends where that I think this is speaking to one of the features we recently read about in the last 2 weeks.
Okay. And the other thing I wanted to report on before we experiment on the recording some more, let's run this so you can actually read it. Okay. Is that slide 1? Yeah. Okay. So you go into the web portal, your Zoom account, on the left-hand side, account settings. Then the second tab over, recording.
Well, can I point out real quick?
Yep.
That's under admin, not personal. Admin account settings, not personal settings. Not everybody sees admin account settings unless you're actually the account owner.
The account holder.
Yep.
Correct. And then way down at the bottom of the screen, before you fall off the edge of the world, they give you the option. And the nice thing now is, and that's only a recent change too, you can announce it to all participants, guest only, meaning those that are not on the same domain as you, or to no one at all.
Can I just say?
Yeah, go ahead, Robert.
I'm sorry I interrupted you. If you can just finish off, Jason.
The only thing I was going to add to that is typically I choose the no one option because I have 99% of the people are guests in my Zoom meeting. So that option is useless to me, but I could see where it would be useful to somebody in the same domain.
Okay. I've spent about 5 hours with Zoom this week because I was running a hybrid event last weekend where we had over 100 people in a conference room and an external speaker who we had brought in. And because we're in Europe, we were all connected as users to the Frankfurt server. However, the recording in the cloud goes into the US servers somewhere. And what happened is that Frankfurt lost connection with the US servers, and this message came through the whole conference. Wow. Through the whole AV system, and then it reconnected and the message came through again, and I didn't have a clue what was going on, and I contacted Zoom. They went into the logs, and then they told me that the servers had lost connection. So I have a feature request in at the moment that if that happens, then the message doesn't go out to anyone because no one's interested except the host.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Had you had this setting turned off?
I have it. I didn't know about this setting. I've just learned about it now.
Well, you've got a screen capture here that says recording notifications, Zoom client.
Yeah, but when you let's see, I can go to a live screen.
Well, here I'll share and I'll trump yours because I'm already there. I know where you're going. I'm already there.
The little balloon will tell you.
And I was going to say there I have a second option because the show a disclaimer to participants is Zoom clients include the Zoom client. You know, that's who they are. That's a disclaimer. That's a visual disclaimer, and I can actually customize that, right?
I don't
but
have
this
that
one is play voice prompt for, and it says no one as well. So I don't think the disclaimer is the vocal. That's not the audible.
No, it's the
that's
vocal.
the visual. And that's what you can't get rid of. You can tailor it, but you can't rid yourself of it. The vocal part, I can actually say no one and hit save, and now no one will ever hear the announcement about recording. But I didn't see that on your screenshot.
No, I don't have the top. So it reads the same: recording notifications, Zoom client, balloon window. I do not have show a disclaimer to participants when recording starts. Okay, then it says on my screen, play voice prompt for. So that top section there, disclaimer, is not one of my options. So it's probably, I'm guessing, account level driven.
Because it's a modification that it's allowing you to do.
So,
right?
Well, it is allowing you to do a modification, but I'm admin. I have all the rights on my account. What I'm simply saying is Jeff must be on a different plan than I am.
That would
so I'm not the
version.
master admin. I mean like the core like money out of pocket master admin. I'm a second level admin of this enterprise account. And so I've got,
that's interesting.
I've got some fairly high privileges on an enterprise account, and so I don't know for sure
so your
what the
enterprise account. Let me just double check.
Well, I have a business account, and I am the admin of the business account, and I don't have that option, Jeff.
You don't see the two.
I'm going to have to leave soon because I have a 2:30 the exercise thing. If you want to do the breakout test again, can we do it first and then continue with this discussion after I'm gone?
Yeah, I actually, Lois, I appreciate that. I have to give host because I've been managing and launching Zoom meetings for South Dakota book celebration or something like that all day, and I've got 2 more ahead of me, and I've got one that starts in about 30 minutes. So I'm going to give host to somebody. I would love to I'm going to try to, as long as I can, I'm going to keep it streaming so I can go back and watch your reported results when you get back. But who wants to, Lois, you want to take the host?
I'm leaving in about 5
Oh,
minutes.
you're going to leave and go to the breakout room. Who wants to
I'm
hang
going to
here?
do the breakout room as well.
Tony,
because
you
on
want
Windows.
to hold host and stay in the main session while they do their breakout findings, or you have to leave too?
Actually, I have to leave as well. And
All
but
right,
I
Robert.
wanted to,
Robert, you might be it.
Yeah, I can do it because I want to see what the outcome is. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Jeff, if
there you
I
go.
could have maybe just a couple of minutes before Lois leaves, I
Oh,
just
yeah. Real quick, I just made a switch and I gave host away, right? So I was the account owning host, and I'm only telling you something I just ran into and it really kicked my butt in a production. I'm the account owning host, and so I can, there's nothing in a meeting I can't do. I can start a live stream, which really requires not just host, but an account owning host, if you will. There's another exception to that, but not, it doesn't extend very far. Creating polls, you can launch them as a co-host, but you can't go to the portal to create them. You have to be the one with the portal credentials, right? And so I was doing freelance work for a production company who provided their employee the assignment to open the meetings, wait for me to show up, give me host, and they were there for a while. Little did they let me know they'd be coming back. And when they came back, which was literally, I kid you not, 4 seconds before I was getting ready to switch to a break, which was a graphic and music and unspotlighting, they came back. And I was handcuffed because Zoom automatically gives host right back to the master account owner who started the meeting, who owns the meeting invite, if you will. And I lost 100%. Doesn't demote me to co-host, it demotes me to a participant. And then worse than that was this person became completely unresponsive. It took me literally 8 minutes to get host back. And I couldn't track him down. It's like, you just showed up. Like, where the heck are you? You know. So, anyways, just a word of warning that, you know, if you ever end up in that predicament, or if you happen to be the master account owner and you're giving host to somebody as a favor, a fee, or whatever, don't pop in and out, because you will really mess them up. so Tony, go ahead, and then a few of us will have to drop.
Okay, so I'll be real brief. So I'm excited to announce that Jeff is going to be on a conversation with me on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to have a conversation about Zoom Test Kitchen and the things that inspired him to create Zoom Test Kitchen. And so I want to invite all of you to come and participate and watch this conversation. And more importantly than anything else, and I think this is the perfect venue to mention this. So it is going to be a YouTube broadcast. However, I need you to go to my website, conversationswithtonymobley.com. Go to my website and register to participate in my Mukana chat. And there you will be able to ask questions of Jeff. You'll be able to vote them up, vote them down. And so I imagine that we may not be able to get to all of the questions. So this is a good way in which you can be able to vote up those questions that you want to get answered by Jeff. So I encourage you to go to my website is conversationswithtonymobley.com, register, and then you will be able to access the Mukana Q&A chat.
Yeah,
that will be.
You don't use Zoom, right? I mean, you don't you're not using Zoom or Zoom chat or things like that. So the only way to converse, right, is via this Mukana, which is an office hours tool that you've been, given access to as well. And I think it's great.
That is Wednesday, October 6th, and that's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So West Coast people, that's 5.
Yeah.
Okay, I really am I have to go in about 2 minutes, so I'm going to head out to the breakout room and do that real quick test, and then I'll report back to you next time. Okay.
You bet. Thanks. Good seeing you, Lois.
Good seeing you.
All right. Take care, everyone.
All right.
Robert,
And
will you print
yeah.
me recording, and I'll do a quick check and see what happens.
Tony,
here.
thank you, sir. Thanks for the opportunity to converse with you Wednesday.
I'm looking forward to it, Jeff. I think it's going to be.
I look forward to it as well. I can't say I've ever been deeply interviewed for an hour and a half, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And feel free to tell me to shut up anytime, because I've never been accused of not saying enough. But
well, it's going to be a great time, and I think it's going to be a great time had by all. And I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
And
all right, you guys. Robert,
right.
you've got the ship. Yep. Thank you for that. Good seeing everybody, and I am going to drop. Have a great rest of your day and weekend. All right, see you guys.
Thanks, Jeff. Take care.
So, Robert, it's very good, and Alex also, that 2 interpreter pros are in this meeting now, because today I started a little setup to test to check how it works with all these breakouts. So I went to my account, allowed interpretation, and I expected, when I then open a meeting, that I have the ability to assign interpretation to some people there in the meeting, but I didn't find this point. So is there some trick that I have to activate before I get this permission? And I think the only thing I didn't do was, after I allowed interpretation, to log out of my Zoom web client, so to say, or out of the website, and so that the changes maybe will be saved first after I left the website portal. This is the only thing I didn't do. Do you know if this is an issue?
The changes in the web portal don't move to the web app.
Okay.
So if you've got the Zoom client running and you make changes in the backend, they won't come through. You have to close the meeting and open it again.
Yes, I did this, but I didn't close the web backend. So I was logged into the web backend, and I thought maybe I had to leave this to leave my account settings. I leave the website, then it is like registered, and then I can start a new meeting with his permissions.
And so, but when you went back and checked, did the meeting have interpretation on in the portal?
The portal, you mean the website portal?
Yes, the website portal.
Yes, I switched this on. Then I started a meeting, and I expected to see it somewhere to assign interpretation to some people, but I didn't see any options.
Okay, you'll only see it as the host. That's one thing.
Yeah.
So you have to be the host. You can't be the co-host. You have to be the host 100%.
Okay.
And then sometimes it hides underneath the 3 dots.
Yes, I know, but there haven't been no 3 dots as I have been in full screen. And the last thing on the right was this new Zoom apps symbol. So I saw all the symbols in the bottom of the gallery screen, but there was no interpretation choosing.
Okay, and you were in the client app, not on the browser version.
Yeah, I were in the client app. Yes.
I don't understand.
So usually this is one of the points that shows up at the bottom beneath breakout rooms, reactions, blah, 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 right?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
So I have to retry on Monday. Thank you very much.
If you want to connect up, just drop me a line and we can just connect up and try it, yeah?
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So Jason.
Yeah,
yes,
what's
sir.
the experience?
All right. so if you will grant me screen sharing, let's take a look and see what happened.
Okay. I'm going to make you a co-host.
Thank you.
As Jeff does.
Right. Okay, so first thing that I tried was I paused the recording in the breakout room, came back into the main session, resumed recording, and this time it only gave me one file, which is different than my previous experience where I had a recording in the main room, paused the recording in the main room, started a recording in the main room, continued over into the breakout, ended the recording in the breakout, gave me two files. So don't exactly know what triggers the one file versus the two file. I'd kind of have to think that one out. But anyway, we have a different result here. And
I know if you stop the recording and restart it, it'll give you two files in local recording.
Yeah, and it might be under a different name too, like Zoom Test Kitchen, and it might be another one. Like if you go up one level.
Yeah, let me turn off some of these. So this is where's the time field?
525.
Yeah. There we. Okay. Yep. There it is, right in front of me. Okay. So, and if we go up one level.
Yeah, that was earlier, it looks like.
That was earlier, where it gave me the two recordings.
Yep. Okay.
So something was different about this. This one I stopped in the main room. The other one I stopped in the breakout room. So I'm totally guessing here, but since maybe the breakout room is almost like its own separate little Zoom meeting, maybe that's what triggered the two recording files, versus this recording that you see on the screen started and ended in the same main session.
Why don't you play it and see what's on it?
Yep. So now what I did
Verse with you
I'm looking forward to it, Jeff. I think it's going to be.
I look forward to it as well. I can't say I've ever been deeply interviewed for an hour and a half, but
I am now in speaker view. I'm starting the recording. I am switching to gallery view and ending the recording. And what was the other thing we were supposed to try? Multi-pin. Pin cannot multi-pin.
Yeah, I think he said that. Jeff said that.
Yeah, well, you still got to test it.
Still got to test it.
You just got to test it.
So
Okay.
I for sure started off the recording in the main session in gallery view. I came over here into the breakout. It is in gallery view right now. I cannot multi-pin. I'm going to switch it to speaker view, and then I'm going to switch it back to gallery view.
And stop the recording and switch to speaker and start the recording and switch to gallery and start the recording.
All right, there we go.
Actually, you might try testing, start the recording, pause, and I'm going to try that too.
Resume it in the main room?
Start the recording? No, just to see if you get two.
We do. We do. I got two.
Pause,
yeah, sorry. I reported that in the main room, but I think you were still in the breakout.
Yeah, but see, you're on Windows, I'm on Mac. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, I got to go because I got to run this thing. So see you next time. Good to meet you all. Bye.
Bye.
Jason,
yes.
Did you test it to start it in gallery view?
I did. I started the recording in the main room in gallery view.
Okay.
It came over here into the breakout, I think in gallery view. I'll know when I look at the recording. I switched to speaker view. Like right now it's in speaker view.
Why don't you try it one more time? Just stop it. But actually, it might not work if there's not enough of us in the room. Because there's not a speaker view anymore. Is there?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I have a speaker view, but I'm not allowed to multi-pin. What I wonder is, if I pause the recording in the breakout room and then I resume in the main room, it'll probably give me two files.
Yeah.
Probably. but we'll find out. So I'm going to pause the recording, and now we're resuming recording in the breakout room in gallery view. I'm going to switch it to speaker view. I'm going to switch it back to gallery view. I'm going to pause the recording, and then I'll go into the main room.
Okay.
Co-host, you have to be the host 100%.
Okay.
And
there we go. So we learned we only get one file, that combination.
One file, and it recorded the switch from speaker view.
The switch.
Yeah.
So I stand corrected. Wow. We live and learn.
But I started in gallery view in the main room.
And it went over in gallery view.
Yep. And I was able to switch.
Yeah.
But I got one recording instead of two this go around. So something about pausing it in the breakout room.
Did you stop it?
Nope, I didn't stop it.
Okay.
But the first time that I recorded locally, I also did not stop it. I merely paused it. So just to recap, the first time, recorded, paused, main room. Recorded, main room, carried over to breakout session, continued recording, came back to main room, paused recording. No, excuse me. Wait a minute. First time, started recording main room, paused recording main room, resumed recording main room, went to breakout room, stopped recording breakout room, left meeting, compiled 2 files. This time around, started recording locally, main room in gallery view, went to breakout room in gallery view, recording continued, played around in the breakout room, returned to main room, recording running, stopped recording, left meeting, compiled 1 file.
My experience overall is that whenever I stop it, it'll create a new file.
If you stop it, yeah.
If you stop it.
That's my experience as well.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that happen with a
converting
pause.
in the end of the meeting.
Yeah. The other time it creates more than one file is if the file size that it's rendering at the end is over 4 point whatever it is, the Windows max. So.
Okay, that's good to know. So if you're doing several hours at once or something,
you end up with 2 files.
And you should know there's a gap of 1 or 2 seconds. Like if you're doing a long continuous, it loses 1 or 2 seconds.
Oh, that's a problem.
Well, it's generally something like 3 hours into it or something like that.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
4
Murphy's Law is going to be right in the middle of the CEO keynote. And it's those 2 seconds that everyone is going to be like...
Well, that's why I always back up recording here, on one of my local computers, because I found it. I was going, why is my time out? And so I had to go back in the file and figure out what happened.
So it's a good note to stop the recording during a break or when the panelists transition.
That's right.
All right. Well, that's fun. All right. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. That was good. It was good of you to run us through that very step by step.
You're welcome. My pleasure. See you all next time.
See you, Jason. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
I leave too. So see you next time, guys.
See you, Andre.
Bye-bye.
And Robert, you're up the latest, so thank you.
Yeah. I think actually Andre is in the same time zone. He's in Germany, just next door to me. So we're both in the same time zone.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thanks very much, James. We'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.